And welcome back to the class, everyone. Today we have a little bit of a different video. We're going to be talking, I don't know if we can call this speculation because we have like nothing to work with, but me and Tila, we're going to be talking about a group of characters that we would like to come to the game over, the next year or two or something like that. So on my channel, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 5 characters from canon that currently exist in the Disney canon, which ones we wanted them to come to the game, and then afterwards there's going to be a link you can both check in the description below, and there'll be a card at the end of the video of a video talking about the 5 characters from Legends that we want to come to the game, since CG is obviously still wanting to do that. And make sure to go ahead and when you go over to Tilo's channel to watch that video, to give him a like and a sub. We would appreciate that a lot. You ready to go, Tilo?
Let's do it.
Yeah, anything you'd like to say before we get started?
No, I'm just excited to do this video with you, and always excited to talk lore, so it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Alright, so that being said, our first character, this is kind of probably the most boring character that we have so far, but it's going to be Saw Gerrera. So we actually, I think we've talked about this character a lot before. We wanted him to do a lot of the things that Red is kind of going to be doing now. If we were to get him in game, Tilo, what would Saw do?
I definitely see him in the vein of, say, a Mon Mothma, obviously like an Rad. I feel like Rad kind of took his team, so maybe you would have to introduce a couple of new characters. And I don't know if CG would be down for that, but I would love for him to kind of revitalize some of these rebels that we aren't using from either the Rogue One or either Rebel fighters, especially like Lando maybe, or Wedge. That would be really cool. I don't know. How do you feel about this character? Where would you see him fit?
So I originally wanted him to be, the Rogue One leader. And I think, Rad has this huge viability of the fact that they can also make a capital ship out of him. As far as I know, our friend Saw here doesn't really have that option. So he probably would just end up being another leader for these kind of leftover Rebel or Rogue One, whichever ones of them are left. Because, I mean, we see that a little bit with Iden, where Iden had very few characters to work with, like 5. And they penciled in her kit into such a small way that she was able to take exactly those 5, and it's a great team. So I think that's where I'd see Saw. I do think it'll be more Rebel fighters, just because there are more Rebel fighters at his disposal than there are really Rogue One characters. But yeah, I think that's about him. We're ready to move on to number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so number 2, and these aren't in any particular order. Oh, but I really, really like this one. So Tilo, this is the Rancor trainer. What is his name exactly?
Malakili.
So what would Malakili do if we got him in game?
This one, you have tons of options. Obviously, he's Malakili, the Rancor trainer. I would love for him to have abilities where we could see the Rancor. Maybe we don't see the Rancor's body or face, but I would love for him to have an AoE probably with the Rancor, where he throws down on the opposite team and does some damage that way. Maybe even protection too. I could definitely see him putting his arms around the team, giving bonus protection to the allies. A lot of possibilities with Malakili, even possibly Annihilate. We talked about this a little bit, where maybe he had a certain specific requirements for the Annihilate meter to grow, and you would be able to pick your target and the Rancor would eat it. I think that would be a really, really cool kit.
Well, and I would even want to go a step further. We didn't talk about this exactly, but the same way that the raid boss can, eat galactic legends, I would love for that to be the case for him too, where he would be on we talked about this before, where he would have a 100 turn cooldown, but every single time he's inflicted with a debuff, takes damage, or is crit, it goes down by 1. It's kind of this reverse BB-8. And just to see, like, can you protect him that long for him to get that many turns for it to actually come around, or is it more just a novelty? But I think it'll be a really, really cool addition to the game. And I think they kind of have the tools visually to do it now.
Oh, yeah. And it would be an awesome way. The character we see crying in Return of the Jedi be one of the most powerful in SWGOH. I think that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what SWGOH does. They take the characters, these random characters that are beloved by us, and some of them just get blown out of the water. Others, not so much. But yeah, so we have Malakili coming in there at number 2 for our number 3 pick. This is, I know, a big one for you, and I think a really relevant one right now, given what's been happening in Star Wars lore recently. But Quinlan Vos. So what is Quinlan gonna do?
Oh my gosh, I would love for Quinlan not to only be in the game, but to have a little bit more involvement in Star Wars in general and some of these TV shows. But when it comes to SWGOH, I would definitely want him to be an attacker, first of all, because that's more of his style and the way he fights. But definitely because of his unique ability to touch objects and see what they saw in the past. I could definitely see him maybe having foresight built into his kit, as well as him being a Jedi spy. He's a person that really involves himself in the underbelly of the galaxy for the Jedi. So I can definitely see him maybe attacking under protection, which would be really cool because we don't have Jedi with that ability. It's more of a Sith thing, but it definitely fits alongside this character in lore.
Yeah, and I always like it when they come out with characters that makes one thing do something else. Like, I think it would be cool if he got a bunch of different types of buffs depending on, or a ton of extra abilities depending on the buffs that he had. So Foresight is something that's super common for Jedi, like all of them do it. I would be okay with him not even like giving himself Foresight, but being able to do X, Y, and Z once he has it. Like, ignore protection. Kind of similar like to when Ahsoka, when she has crit immunity, she gets all these bonuses. Maybe when he has, every time he has Foresight, he also gets stealth, and he always hits under protection. He has like he does like 50% true damage, something like that. Whereas his whole kit kind of revolves around it so that he can really synergize with characters like, GK, Grandmaster Yoda, Mace Windu, Qui-Gon. Yeah, Foresight is not a rare ability to the Jedi, so I think those would synergize really well. And also, like, GR Jedi is the most versatile grouping of tags to have right now, right?
Oh yeah, like we need more GR Jedi, especially good ones.
Oh, wait, we've had this talk. Like, oh, I need like 2 more GR Jedi for this team, and then I'll be fine. I'm like, no, we're gonna put 2 more GR Jedi in the team, and then we're just gonna start making more teams, and then we're gonna need 4 more.
Yeah, so we definitely need those role player Jedi, and I definitely see Quinlan Vos filling that role. He's not a leader. He definitely could slide into some of these teams, so we don't have that problem.
And we do have one more Galactic Republic character coming towards the end, but before we get to them, we are going to move on to, I call them the murder bots, but Tilo, you actually know their names.
Oh yeah, and it's BT and 000. These droids are absolutely awesome, and I would love to have them in game.
So these, I think, are a little bit more rare for maybe the common viewer. Do you mind giving us like a 1-minute synopsis of like why these characters exist, where they come from?
Yeah, so they are canon. They're not legends. They come from the comic books, the Doctor Aphra comic book series. 000 was actually a protocol program that actually Wat Tambor actually had in the Clone Wars, but was so scared that he put it into quarantine that the galaxy wouldn't be able to find it. So Aphra, being the way she is, an archaeologist and a person that does not follow the rules, broke into there and got that program and activated this absolutely crazed murder bot that wants to destroy everything that has flesh and blood. So definitely a really cool character. 000 is, but we also on the other side have BT. So this is the opposite of C3PO, where 000 is the opposite of R2. And this droid was actually built from the Tarkin Initiative. So basically the same program that built you the Death Star and a couple of other stuff like the Dark Troopers. So they were built protocol droids that were actually assassin droids. That's why he has tons of weaponry on him, and really same thing with 000, going to take out people. And Aphra actually gets a hold of both of them and combines them, and they probably are one of the most devastating duos in all of the galaxy.
Well, I haven't read that many of the Aphra comics, but of the ones I have, it's just a really cool concept where they take like the similar banter that R2 and 3PO have, but with a super dark twist. Like they talk about like their favorite way of like killing things and stuff like that. And we have R2 and 3PO in the game, and these guys are actually designed to fight. I think it'd be really cool to get them on maybe like a shorty team, or even kind of like we see with a lot of the droids in game, they can go in a droid team, or you can kind of stick them with their factions. So like maybe they could go with Dr. Aphra, or maybe in some scenario Empire or something like that. I think they would have a few different homes they could go to.
Yeah, no, definitely. They would they're two masters, are Dr. Aphra and Vader. So I could definitely see them with them if they introduce Aphra into the game, or if they want Darth Vader to have a team since they took off Mara Jade and Palpatine. But definitely, I could see a lot of flexibility with them, and definitely they would pack a lot of heavy offense in game.
That does bring us to our final character, Tilo. And I specifically wanted to save this one for last. Number one, because it's my favorite. But also number two, because I didn't want people to just shut down the video and think this was a joke. And I already alluded to the fact that he's Galactic Republic. So here he is. Jar Binks. And so we're both pretty large fans of the prequels. This is not a joke. I legitimately think if 3PO can have a place in the game, then Jar Jar can have one too. And I had this funky idea that he could be a souped up chopper, like an evasion tank where whenever people would try to hit him and he has like a 60 or 70% chance to evade, and he'll apply confusion to whoever he does that to, or maybe he'll have like an AoE confusion, and every single time he takes a turn, for every confusion on the field, including on his own team, his team gets like 10% protection up or something like that to make him synergize with Padme or JMK. What do you think about him?
I love that idea of bringing out confusion. That's exactly what Jar Jar does to his team. Look at the Battle of Naboo. Like, he's not only taking out the droids, but he's hurting his team in the process as well. I would love that, and I think Jar Jar is a staple character that you guys we have to have him in game eventually. And I think it would be really cool for all the people that used to play the old school Star Wars mobile games. They have this game called Force Collectors. Very similar to what you were talking about. He was a tank, you put in your initial role, extremely high evasion. So I can definitely see him doing the similar role in game and be a real nuisance to the other team, which would be really cool.
And they could even give him like specific synergy calls with either Padme or 3PO, or even one of the Anakin variants to kind of really boost his home into one of those GR teams. But yeah, guys, so those are our 5 picks. Please let us know like which ones you love, which ones you hate, not Jar Jar, and which ones you think we really missed. But that is going to pretty much be the video today. Do remember, I will have a card up here in the corner to check out Tilo's video. We're going to do the same exact concept, except we're going to be talking about some characters from the Legends part of things. So be sure to check that out. Remember to like and subscribe over there. But until the next time, stay awesome.